All right, thank you all for coming out, rising up, standing up, speaking up for your rights. And so we're going to bring the chairman on to kick this off. Come on, chairman.
Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter, right?
Since the beginning of time, brother. Yes, sir.
A gunshot rang loud within the hits the concrete, and it sounded as if a 100-pound sack of potatoes hit the ground, and people were startled, and people were scurrying, and some people was running from, and some people was running to the scene where this crime took place. The scene where this young black male met his fate. He met his maker due to another whose misplaced hatred caused this young black male to lose his life. This misplaced hatred, it caused the family and friends left to grieve and cry, questioning, why, oh why, my baby, my baby. Our mothers cried, while those of us gathered around, questioning God, questioning these streets, and questioning ourselves. If only I had her, as we sigh, as the tears fell from our eyes. Not understanding how these streets continue to steal away the lives, you know. Street life, hustle the lives and take away the souls. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Yes, sir.
Dr. Cornel West told me that you can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. I am not interested in receiving a grant. I am not interested in standing with politicians who do not respect my community. I am interested in justice. Justice for all. We have been standing on the rocks of justice for 300 years. We started in 1800, in which they said that I am a man. Sojourner Truth said, ain't I a woman? 100 years later, black folks said, I am a man in the Memphis sanitation workers. And now here we are again, 50 years later, trying to convince America that black lives matter. We do matter. Power to the people. Power to the people. Come on, let me hear you. Power to the people. Power to the people. So we are standing here in the name of justice. My name is Felicia Jones. I am with SEIU 1021 Wealth and Disparities in the Black Community, and I am happy to see you to come out and stand with us. And so now what we want to do for a few 1 minute or less, that we know is just not about police brutality, but it is about black on black crime. It is about mass incarceration, violence. It's about housing. It's about health. It's about poor education. It's about jobs. Jobs. It's about this city having an $8.6 billion budget. And at the same time, you mean to tell me, for those of us who need jobs, who need housing, out of $8.6 billion, you can't help anybody? Out of $11 billion in tourism dollars, you can't help anybody? Out of $665 million in tourism taxes, you can't help anybody? Is it all about the rich and nothing about the poor, nothing about the poor working class? Well, we are here to say that City Hall is our building. We deserve the right to have the right to the city. So right now, if you have lost loved ones, we want you to shout out their name.
Marcus Nelly! Marcus! Come on with it!
Alex Nato!
Shanito.
Let's go! Cruz!
Dorsey. Lil Vic.
Andre Johnson.
Thank you.
Amilcar Perez.
And so we're gonna bring Brittany and Larry Dorsey up to read some other names, and then we will have a moment of silence. Again, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for the love, because we do love you, and we are ready to serve you. And just know, we're putting you on notice. We ain't stopping here, y'all. This is just the first of many. We are not stopping here. God bless you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you so much.
We're going to take the next moment to pay our respects to those who have been killed by police here in San Francisco and nationwide. Victims of police brutality and fatality here in San Francisco. Asa Sullivan.
My close friend Bernard Peters was shot 6 times in his back while running away.
Renee Robinson.
Alex Nieto.
Ashe.
Leonard Michael Cole. Iris Steele. Almakeer Lopez.
Randall Phillip Duncan.
Dale Wilkerson.
Oliver Lafiti.
Mario Vargas.
Joshua Smith.
Kenneth Harding Jr.
Now nationwide, Andy Lopez.
Oscar Grant.
Alan Bluford.
Antonio Lopez.
Mike Brown.
Ayanna Stanley Jones.
Tamari Rice.
Cameron Tillman.
Trayvon Martin.
Renisha McBride.
Kimani Gray.
Kendrick McKay.
Evan Jefferson.
Amadou Diallo.
Sean Bell.
Victoria Steen.
Wendell Allen.
Ramarley Graham.
Tanisha Miller.
Rakia Boyd.
Jonathan Farrell.
Eric Garner.
Walter Scott.
Chaimil Pierce.
Christina Prestiani.
Janisha Fonville.
Eric Courtney Harris.
Guadalupe Marzo Ochoa.
David Kasich, and the millions others that haven't been recorded. So thanks to social media, they've been recorded, but through the hundreds of years, there's been millions.
In the past few months, since January, we have accumulated over 6 pages of names of men, women, and children who have been shot and killed at the hands of police. We're going to take the next 30 seconds in respect and hold our silence. Thank you all for being here today. Black and brown lives matter!
I also have another list right here of people who were victims of police brutality within the past 14 days of April alone. Isaac Jimenez, Richard Dale Weaver, Mac Long, Donald W. Allen, Jess Leopold, Andrew Crescero Corona Jr., Gordon Talmadge Kimball, Don O'Neill Smith, Philip Michael Burgess, Mark Smith, Michael Earl Lemon, Roberto Rodriguez, Dexter Bethia, Douglas Faith, Joseph Jeremy Weber, Eric Rose, Tyrell Larson, William J. Dick III, Jared Fawcett, Desmond Willis, Richard August Hanna, Alexander Myers, Ken Cocker, Terrell Beasley, Justus Howell, Paul Anthony Anderson, David Cody Lynch, Walter Scott, Ethan Nall, Christopher A. Previtt, Darren A. Langford, Wayne Brunette, Aaron Marcus Rutledge, Donald J. Hicks, Eric Courtney Harris, Donald Ivy, Robert Washington, John Carr, Jeremy James Anderson, and Philip White. Just in the past 14 days alone, all these people have been murdered at the hands of police. And a big majority of them have not gotten any justice. So I just wanted to show how many people have been murdered by the police. That's it.
Justice for peace.
No justice for peace.
All right, you guys are awfully quiet to be raising up, standing up, speaking up for your rights. That's why we are here. We are here to have a voice to the voiceless. We are here because we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being disrespected. We are here. Come on, let me hear you. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired of being disrespected, you got to make some noise. Right? We need to let them know inside that building that we have had enough. That we have a right to this city. That San Francisco is Ferguson. A public defender, Santina, I believe that's his last name, a few weeks ago identified it as Jim Crow Francisco. And so we have a right to the city. The disparities are outrageous. They are deplorable. Mayor Lee won't call you back. Any of the department heads won't call you back. We get no respect in this city. It is time for us to rise up, speak up, and stand up. Are you with me? Are you with me? All right, then let me hear you. Raise those signs up. Mayor Lee, can't you see inequality is killing me? Again, Mayor Lee, can't you see inequality is killing me? Mayor Lee, can't you see inequality is killing me? And that's what it is. Our next speaker is a young lady who I met in December. And most of you I know participate in the Millions March, where we marched down Market Street. She was the lead organizer on that march. She's from Bayview, Hunters Point, fourth generation, but she organized it through social media. And some of us in San Francisco, not only in San Francisco, in Oakland also. A powerful young sister who I support and I think is downright awesome, Miss Atisha Brown.
Greetings, everyone. I'd like for us to take a moment to speak about the realities of racism in this city. The realities that San Francisco is Jim Crow. The reality that San Francisco is practicing racketeering and RICO. The thousands of black people who've been displaced in San Francisco is preposterous. San Francisco has the fastest out-migration of black people since post-Katrina New Orleans. I'll say that again. San Francisco has the fastest out-migration of black people since post-Katrina New Orleans.
Bring it down. That mean they getting us up out of here.
Gentrification is plaguing our neighborhoods. We're suffering from joblessness, poverty, mass incarceration. Our children are being suspended from school more rapidly than any other ethnic group in the city. We are gathered here today to hold local and city officials accountable for their actions. We have demands for the city. We're no longer going to be complacent with the way that they treat us. We are here. We are the last 3%, but we are here. They tried to bury us, but they did not know that we were seeds. In the words of June Jordan, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. There is power in numbers. And the liberation of black people is the liberation of all people. We demand that you stop profiling, targeting, stopping, frisking, and killing black and brown families. We demand of you, San Francisco, that our community review boards are actually effective and have true jurisdiction over the San Francisco Police Department. We want an educational system that exposes the current and historical racism that exists in our society. And we want barriers to learning to be dealt with professionally and compassionately by culturally competent educators. We demand you, in the name of public service, give up 80% of your department budget to refund school libraries, arts programs, and education and after-school enrichment programs. We demand a complete overhaul of the Police Bill of Rights. We demand police officers receive leave without pay while under investigation. We demand an end to the bleed out policy. We demand that you fire all killer cops. We demand the immediate end to the harassment of the homeless. These are our streets, not yours. We demand a stop to all abuse and violence against mentally ill people committed by law enforcement. We demand a stop to all abuse and violence against LGBTQIA people committed by law enforcement. Police Chief Greg Sir's salary is $100,000 more than the average for chiefs across the nation's top 24 biggest cities. We demand that the city budget is redistributed these funds for co-ops whose purpose will be to improve the quality of life for oppressed nationalities by building schools, grocery stores, medical facilities, and creating living wage jobs with benefits. We demand a local hiring policy that ensures 50% of the jobs created by new businesses in our communities go to black people and the disenfranchised, especially those who are on probation or on parole. We demand a health impact assessment that lays out how many San Francisco residents will be displaced as a result of the development in the southeast sector of the city and other undesirable outcomes. We demand a commitment to providing accessibility to living wage STEM jobs, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. We have a brain drain happening. The HB1 visa allows for people to come into our communities, work in the STEM industry, and that means that our black and brown children are not being trained to work in STEM fields. So when they graduate from high school, they have no jobs and no skills to work in the jobs that are the largest growing career choice in this city. We demand that 50% of the jobs at the NBA Warriors Stadium Mission Bay development should go to the people of color, and 51% of the jobs should be protected for disenfranchised populations, such as those on parole and probation. We demand a task force comprised of the most impacted community members to devise a plan that will allow for the abolishment of all prisons and instead create a set of community-based responses to violent crimes that do not further criminalize our communities. Today, San Francisco stands in solidarity with the national demands made by Ferguson Action. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers profit, motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. Ashe.
All right, Ashe. That's Atisha Brown, one of the lead organizers for Black Lives Matter. Give her another round of applause. One of the things that I love about Atisha and others is that this movement, this cause demands truth. We are tired of folks selling us out for grants. We are tired of folks selling us out to take a picture with politicians who don't give a damn about us. We are tired. We are wanting to move forward. We demand our right to the city. We are not going anywhere. We don't need another journal or anything to do with understanding black folks. You have 3 documents on black folks over the 45 years here in San Francisco, telling us what's going on, what's not going on, what are the solutions, and none of the solutions have been moved on since 45 years. But the amazing thing for me was when I just read when they were going through the gentrification of the Fillmore, the redevelopment agency, right? It was in 1945 was the plan. They realized in 1945 they were going to move black folks out of the Fillmore. They was going to disrupt our communities. They were going to take over. And yes, that's what they did. And now they're doing it in the Bayview. They're doing it in the Mission. And we say no more. 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 All right. And with us together, standing collectively as one, with us together, persevering the culture of San Francisco, the diversity in which it prides itself on, well, is no diversity in San Francisco. Unemployment for whites is 6%. Unemployment for Latinos is 9%. Unemployment for black folks is 19%. 19%. But you know what? We do have a few allies in City Hall. And they right behind us. So we're going to bring them up and let them say a few words. All right, my sister Marilyn, my home girl. Shout out to Marilyn Jones. Shout out to the Fillmore. Shout out to the Bayview. Shout out to Sunnydale. Shout out to Mission. We are here standing together, allies together, and together we will. It's not about we won't. We will. We will. We will. We will. We will. We will make a difference. So we're going to call up Supervisor Avalos and Supervisor Campos.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. My name is Supervisor John Avalos. I'm on the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco. I represent the Excelsior, the Lakeview neighborhoods, and the Outer Mission neighborhoods. There's a serious disconnect between City Hall and the communities of San Francisco. Serious disconnect. I happened to be in New York City when the Daniel Pantaleo, Eric Garner decision came down. Eric Garner was the man who was murdered by the police, by Daniel Pantaleo in Staten Island, New York. And I saw the demonstrations on the streets of New York. There were peaceful demonstrations, blocking traffic, shutting down bridges, taking over public space. I came back, here we are. I came back inspired, thinking about this is a problem. It's not just in New York, not just in Ferguson, not just in Florida, not just in Milwaukee or Chicago. It's a problem that's also in San Francisco as well. We can't deny that. We can't talk about other places around the country if we don't look at San Francisco, what's happening here in our own communities. Last year, a young man named Alex Nieto was killed on Bernal Heights. Right there, he was eating a burrito going to work. And there were many people in the community who were outraged, who had questions, and found themselves blocked from getting answers. And we've had many incidents that have happened since then. A young man on the corner of Folsom and 24th Street, Amilcar Perez, was killed as well. A young man from Guatemala didn't speak Spanish but spoke one of the indigenous languages of Guatemala, and he was gunned down by the police there. We tried to pass a resolution at the Board of Supervisors just indicating that here in San Francisco we have our own share of problems, and we could not get that passed at the board. A very innocuous resolution saying that the violence that happens when people are killed by the police, which is a reality, creates tensions in our communities, and we have to figure out how to ease those tensions. That's pretty darn innocuous if you ask me. And we couldn't get it passed. And then we heard about these texts, these racist texts that were made by officers, and suddenly we're all circling the wagons trying to uproot the problems with the text. And I condemn the text, and the people who committed those texts should be fired. And hopefully they'll be fired very soon. But the texts also hide the fact that we are dealing with racial profiling, racial discrimination on a daily basis in San Francisco. And when we go after the text, we deny that there's any responsibility the city has to deal with the everyday racial profiling and racial violence going on in this city against communities of color. Every day. I get calls all the time, people saying they got jacked by the police. You can't even make a videotape in Bayview if you're black. You make a videotape when you're black in Bayview, you're under surveillance. They'll watch you. But if you're out there partying in Dolores Park, nothing happens. Not that anything should happen, but that kind of level of scrutiny is always on our communities of color. And San Francisco is no exception. We talk all this talk about the out-migration of African Americans in San Francisco, and we don't do nothing about it except lip service. It's incredible. We have houses, middle-class black families that have held their homes for generations in San Francisco, losing their homes, and the city can't create a policy to help them keep their homes, to create affordable mortgages, how to use our public dollars to fight the banks that are killing our communities. Nothing gets done. Lip service. I'm done. Thank you.
All right. So before we bring on Supervisor Campos, I think we need a little rhythm up in here because it is about us, right? And our culture is about singing, dancing, and not eating fried chicken. I am not going to apologize for loving fried chicken. I am not going to apologize for loving watermelon. I am not going to apologize for being black. For nobody. I mean nobody. So Olivia, come on and show us what you got, girl.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. This is something I prepared. Yeah. This one's for the lovers who fight every day. This one's for the shy girls and boys who have so much to say. This one's for the old folk who still act like kids. And this one's for the young ones who think they know everything. Call me crazy now, but we're better than this, so let's shut it down. Call me crazy now, but we're better than this, so let's shut it down. Let's shut it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. She said, let's shut it down. That's what we're here for, to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it all the way down. We are about our blackness. We are about our brownness. And now we're going to hear from Supervisor Campos.
Well, how do you follow that? Listen, I want to be very clear. If there are people here who believe that everything will be fine if we have our police department address the issue of the tax, if you believe that everything will be fine if we have our sheriff department address the issue of the gladiator fights that are happening in our jails, if you believe that everything will be fine if we have our DA address what's happening with a crime lab where the results are compromised, if you believe that's all it takes, then I believe that you're in the wrong place, because this is not just about that. It is not just about the fact that our law enforcement community, that their credibility is being questioned. It is more fundamental than that. The problem in San Francisco is that we have lost our way. We are the city of St. Francis, and yet in the year 2015, San Francisco finds itself as the city with the fastest growing inequality of any city in this country. If San Francisco were an independent country, and we know that the United Nations actually tracks inequality by country, if San Francisco were an independent country, San Francisco's inequality would be up there with Rwanda. That's the San Francisco we live in. The top 5% of households in San Francisco make more money than any other top 5% of households in this country. To be in that top 5%, you have to make at least $430,000 a year. And yet, you see in the Bayview, you see in Hunters Point, people are being pushed out. In the Mission alone, we have lost 8,000 Latinos in the last few years. We have a city that has 3% African American population.
Going down.
Where are we going to be in 5 years? Where are we going to be in 10 years? And so I'm here to tell you, it's not just about law enforcement. It is about reforming this entire city and how we do business in San Francisco. We need to send a message that we have had enough. That this city does not belong to the Ron Conways and the corporate tech executives that are running this building. This city belongs to us, and unless City Hall stands up and treats this crisis like a crisis, the people are going to take over. We have to take the city back, because whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. It's our city. Let's take it back.
All right, so it's our city, and it is so true that in San Francisco, the median income is about $84,000. $84,000. In Bayview, Hunters Point, black people, the median income is about $30,000. So how are you going to afford a one-bedroom apartment on average goes for $3,500? So that means they have counted us out. But we are here today. Don't count us out, because we are here today standing up for our rights, and we are bringing our other sister up, Lee, who's going to talk about the text and the racism that goes on in San Francisco around law enforcement. Give a warm welcome to Lee.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lee Davenport, and I've lived in the Bay Area for 11 years. I've been living here in San Francisco for almost 8 of those years. I'm here today because I care about this community, and I want all people to feel safe and thrive in San Francisco, because this city belongs to everyone. I have a message for our mayor and for the chief of police. The world is watching, and right now, your conduct is embarrassing. I feel hurt and saddened when I read about the racist text messages that were sent by at least 8 veteran San Francisco police officers. One of them was a captain that's been on the force for 20 years. I wouldn't call these bad apples. There were other people involved, and they got a slap on the wrist, and I don't know their names, but the names that are out there, I encourage you to Google them, because they have a history of getting in trouble and skating through. So this is just their latest. So anyway, I got angry, especially angry, when I learned that the department knew about those text messages and sat on this information since 2012. That unethical choice has led to at least 1,000 criminal cases being touched by these officers in one way or another. And those are just the officers that we know about because of the recorded evidence. I don't know about you, but I think that's terrifying. And that's not justice. I want Chief Sir to do the right thing and bring in an independent investigator to identify the problems in his department. Our district attorney used to be the chief of police, so his leading a task force is not going to work for obvious reasons. That's a clear conflict of interest. You cannot investigate yourself. It doesn't work that way. No, it doesn't work that way. People of color need to feel safe on the streets, and for that to happen, we need to see an independent investigation of any allegations of police misconduct. Internal investigations department, we don't trust that. That doesn't work. Let's stop doing it. So as a resident of San Francisco and as a fellow human being, I want Chief Sir to take some leadership, to walk the walk, and prove that he agrees that Black lives really do matter. He needs to stop cowering behind the Internal Affairs Department and show us that there's nothing to hide. Assuming there's nothing to hide. So finally, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I know this is a work day. Thank you for your time, and thank you for taking action to help make our city safer from vigilante law enforcement. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Thank you.
Okay, so we're just plugging right along, and right now, again, you look beautiful. The sun is out. All you people look beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, my sister. And again, my name is Felicia Jones. Danny, come on up, sister. My name is Felicia Jones. I am the chairperson with SEIU 1021, Wealth and Disparities in the Black Community. And we need you. You will see some sisters and brothers walking around with some purple bags. That's SEIU, we the country of purple. We're the country of purple, but we are really promoting our blackness and our brownness today. You will see them with some purple bags. We want contact information because, as I said before, this is a first step, not the last step. First step, not the last step. First step, not the last step. Okay, and so with SEIU Wealth and Disparities, what we do, we are looking at 5 issues. We are a campaign. This is a community partnership with SEIU 1021. It's a community campaign. We deal with the disparities around health, education, housing, jobs, employment, mass incarceration, and violence. And so for those co-chairs and those people who we are working with and working for us, we want you to hear from them real quickly about what the work we are doing, and you are more than welcome to come join us next Thursday. Next Thursday, pull out your phones, put in the address, 350 Rhode Island, Suite 100 at 6 p.m. If you are serious about making a change, it's about organizing and mobilizing, and we need you. So our first speaker would be Jeff Stewart, speaking on mass incarceration.
Good morning, San Francisco. My name is Jeff Stewart from Bayview, Hunters Point. I've been here in the city for 28 years. And I've seen a lot of things in the city change within the last 10 years drastically. With all the tech companies coming in, all the construction, all the work, new buildings and new projects that's going up, the travel, the transportation that we have coming in, the bullet train from here to LA, all this new stuff, great attraction, nice tourism and stuff, but it's a lot of things that haven't changed. I'm here to give you information on mass incarceration in the black and brown community in the city. We all know someone or ourselves have been in the San Francisco jail system. 850 Bryan was once my second home. It's stunning how black and brown communities in the city are dwindling, but the population in the jails is rising. You have less people, but more people in jail. I don't know, to me it doesn't make sense. With high numbers of black and brown brothers and sisters in jail, how can anyone make a living in this city? With an average rent of $3,000, how can anyone afford to live here, especially when these same people are denied jobs in this city? Isn't it ironic how you can't get a job in the city because of your criminal record, but we hire criminals for our police force? The city hires and promotes these criminals, but we can hardly get a job here at City Hall. Doesn't make sense. Life isn't fair, but we can do something about it. We must recognize our current situation and elevate from it. Realize the activities and people you keep around you and how it keeps you in your criminal mind. We must realize what doesn't work won't work. Why keep paying people's salary off your misery? The Dalai Lama once says, to have happiness in your life is to live to your full potential. Are you living or just existing today?
All right, the next person will be from the Living Wage Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shaquita Fulton. I'm from the San Francisco Living Wage Coalition, and we are currently living in a tale of two cities. Sorry about that. So, as Supervisor Campos was saying, San Francisco has the fastest growing rate of income inequality in the nation. Those in the top 5% make more than 16 times what we in the bottom 20% make. The mayor's economic development policies are to use tax breaks and subsidies to bring high-tech companies to San Francisco. These companies bring in workforce from outside of the city. Much of the political discussion of the effects of the mayor's economic policies is focused on the housing crisis, but not enough attention has been paid to the flip side of the mayor's development model. There's a job crisis in this town, particularly in the African American community and the Latino communities. There's a high rate of unemployment, underemployment, and people even working full-time but still living in poverty. At least 23% of San Franciscans live in poverty. These are young mothers who are working for their public assistance checks and welfare to work programs, such as myself. They're dead-end programs that we're in. A recent report by the budget and legislative analysts portrayed these programs as dysfunctional and broken. Many of these young single mothers have families going histories back in generations in this city. They go through programs that does not provide real job training, that has no plan for moving people into long-term employment, and at the end, they have reached their time limit for public assistance. The mayor's development model is to reduce the city's unemployment by forcing the unemployed out of the city. Just as the mayor's economic policies are displacing long-term tenants from their homes, the mayor is using welfare to work programs to displace civil servants from their jobs and shrink public sector employment. Not only are people in welfare to work programs that are working in a form of indentured servitude, but their very work is reducing their opportunities for long-term employment. We here are campaigning for legislation that will transform welfare to work programs into genuine job training programs that provide path to a living wage job. SEIU Local 1021 is partnering with us in demanding that the city provide training and employment opportunities in permanent civil service positions to unemployed parents in welfare to work programs. We are campaigning for economic policies that create jobs for those who already live in the city. Right. Together we are sending a message to City Hall that it can't solve poverty by pushing out the poor people. Thank you.
All right, so we have Reverend Dorn. Yo, Dorn, if you're here, come on up. He's going to speak on housing, but I just want to say one thing. San Francisco, you say you are not Ferguson, we say you are. The Gini coefficient, which is the measurement of income equality, San Francisco, you measure up to Nigeria. You're next to Rwanda. Here we are, San Francisco, metropolitan, and the inequality between the rich and poor is so vast that we will continue to be poor unless we, the people, we, the people, demand something different. If we don't demand it, then we will have no say-so. So we got to rise up. We have to stand up and demand what is owed to us here in San Francisco. Is Reverend Dorn available? All right. You have 2 minutes.
I represent native San Franciscans, born in San Francisco, educated in San Francisco public schools. I'm a pastor in San Francisco of a church that has provided services for San Francisco for 75 years. I am a civil servant. I am a chaplain for the San Francisco Sheriff's Department. My wife is a crossing guard. I represent what's good in San Francisco. Yet, I am faced with trying to give people hope when I don't have hope myself. The banks, under the cover of night, are continuing to foreclose and evict people from their properties. Ask me how I know. This morning, I received my eviction notice from my property. I have been fighting for 7 years because of a bank error. I don't want to mention no names, but Chase is behind it all. Why can't I live where I work and provide services? The problem is that I'm an African American. And it's just not undesirable African Americans they don't want in San Francisco. It's not. We're down to 2%. And now I've gotten an eviction notice. Is it because we don't represent enough votes? Or is it because the mayor is more concerned about his relationship with the big banks than he is about protecting San Franciscans who elected him to be in office? What we want, this is the ask, we ain't asking, we demand. They say they need time to figure it out. What we demand is a moratorium on eviction and foreclosure until they figure it out. People are continuing to lose their homes while they figure it out. We need something to happen now. Not now, but right now. Black lives do matter.
All right, next, dealing with health and for black and brown people is Mr. Perry Lang of Rafiki Wellness.
Dr. Howard Thurman said this. He said, "Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Whether in good times or in tempests, let me not forget that to which my life is committed." We can't forget what we're committed to today. We cannot forget that. We are a part of the SEIU Black Wealth and Disparities Coalition, looking at 5 key areas, because jobs matter, education matters, housing matters, mass incarceration matters, and health matters in our community. And we need some relief. We need to let the city fathers and mothers know that we need relief. When I look at the health disparity issues, when I look at who's leading us in terms of diabetes, it's black and brown people. When I look at who's leading us when it comes to HIV/AIDS, it's black and brown people. When I look at who is leading us when it comes to asthma in our homes, it's black and brown people. We matter. We're here to take a stand. And if we don't stand together, folks, shame on us. Thank you for showing up, because Black Lives Matter.
How are folks doing? How you guys feeling? All right, you younger generations, I want everybody right now, pull out your phone, hashtag it, shut it down SF, tweet it, Instagram it, Facebook it. Bring out as many people as you can in the next 45 minutes, because we got business to handle. Shut it down, SF.
All right, we got some young folks up here. Want to say Black Lives Matter. We got the white coats for Black Lives Matter from USF Medical.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We're medical students from UCSF. My name is Walker. This is Hannah. We're here with some of our colleagues. And we're here because systemic racism and inequality that people of color experience in the community negatively affects their health. And we see this through all sorts of disparities. And in addition, when these people go to the clinics and the hospitals, they receive poor treatment and they do not receive as good of care just because of the color of their skin. And so there's sort of a twofold issue. There's the fact that inequality that they experience, that people of color experience in the community, makes them more sick, and then once they are sick, they don't receive as good care. And so we're here to recognize that inequality in the community, as well as in healthcare, is systemic and needs to be addressed. And we're also here to stand in solidarity with victims of gun violence, because gun violence is a healthcare crisis. It's a healthcare crisis, and it needs to be addressed like a healthcare crisis.
Thank you, Walker. And we know as medical students, as healthcare students, in the health field, we need to recognize that Black lives matter. And we need to recognize that we have a role to play, whether it is as providers of care or to recognize that there's a disparity in the first place. We were just listening to incidents of asthma, and we're listening to how stress from discrimination, from racism, can impact our health care. And it can impact our health. So we are here to say that even though UCSF is on a hill in Inner Sunset, we need to be down here too. We need to make our voices heard, that we care about these issues. We will not remain silent. And we are here to say white coats for Black lives.
Also, we have a problem in healthcare, which is that people of color are not represented among the doctors and among the researchers solving these problems. And so we need to increase the pipeline and increase the amount of funding available to young students interested in STEM, so that they can be the next doctors and the next scientists to solve these problems and to bring these interventions to people who are being discriminated against in the community.
Okay, so our next speaker is going to speak on education, the disparities in education. In San Francisco, you have Miss Vanessa Banks of Youngblood Coleman Park.
How everybody doing? Good. Martin Luther King said, where do we go from here? Are we going to go to community or chaos? Community. Yeah. My name is Vanessa Banks. I am what you call a pipeline to prison candidate because I was born and raised in Hunters Point. In 1974, the U.S. Education Department put a plan on African Americans and black faces to not educate us for 100 years. They got some years to go. So what are we going to do? Our children are in danger because our children are living in the Mission and in the Bayview Hunters Point district. Guess what? They're getting teachers that's getting bribed to get their loans cleared to only come and work with our children. And once their loans are cleared, they leave our community. And that is disturbing our children. We are in a state of emergency. If you have children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, you better take a stand because they will be funneled into a pipeline to prison. And it is getting worse. The U.S. Education Department has put out a report. They will be cutting black and brown education across America from now into 2021. And I'm not talking no 5,000. I'm talking in the millions. To Americans and African Americans and brown faces that's standing here today, let's just accept that America has no intentions for us. Let's just accept that America never had a plan for us to be here. You are in as much danger today as your ancestors was in their time. You are not in a good situation. I don't play politics, and I don't like them. But you know what? I got a lot of respect for Jeff Kadachi, because you know why? Black Lives Matter to the San Francisco Public Defender's Office. I have written a letter to the mayor about the summit I'm putting on in October. He has not yet returned a letter to me back. The letter was certified. Mayor Lee, you got it February the 6th. And he has not decided to call us back. You know why? Because Black Lives Matter to San Francisco. And to San Francisco, understand our lives gotta matter to us first. Then maybe somebody else will respect us. And if they don't respect us, we gonna take our respect. And God bless you. God bless you.
Okay, so here's dilemma. We the people, we don't count. So they told us we have to get off the steps. They're gonna take the microphone, and we are done. So I'm just letting y'all know they telling us to get off the steps. Give up the microphone. We are done. But we say we are not done. You can take the microphone, you can take the podium, but we are here and we are not moving. We are not moving. So if they come, if and when they come, this is City Hall, this is the Board of Supervisors. Thank you, Supervisor Moore, for giving us an hour. But that's it. They told us we don't count again, not even for another 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's the law. Get off our steps. But we are here to say these are our steps. Whole steps. Whole steps. Whole steps. Whole steps. Whole steps. All right. And now we're going to bring up our brother Roberto Hernandez from the Latino community, because we are all one.
My brother Bird.
Buenas tardes. My name is Roberto Hernandez and I'm a native of El Barrio de la Misión. And we are here in solidarity with our black brothers and sisters. And so I'm going to give you a little snapshot of what's going on in El Barrio de la Misión. 8,000 Latinos have been evicted from El Barrio de la Misión, while 6,000 white techies have moved in. These 6,000 white techies have the privilege of going to Dolores Park, drinking wine, drinking beer, smoking weed, and the police never fucks with them. These white people called out the police and had Alex Nieto killed. We have had 5 fires. 5 fires. 5 fires in less than 6 months. 223 people from our barrio are homeless. And now that we're talking about homeless, there are 3,000 children. And the San Francisco superintendent of the school district, 3 weeks ago, I asked him to verify it, and he said there is 3,000 plus children who attend the Unified School District who are homeless. Now, you think they're white? No. You think they're black? You think they're brown? The rents have gone up. Who can afford $5,000 a month today? Who can afford $1 million to buy a house in San Francisco? Not you, not me. None of us. So 2 years ago, check this out. 2 years ago, we met with Mayor Lee and we asked him to declare a state of emergency. It's been 2 years and he still ain't done it. 2 years. We asked him to put a moratorium on evictions, and he still ain't done it. We asked him to put a moratorium on development of any new luxury condos, and he still ain't done it. We need to let today be the beginning, not just go home after today. We need to come back. We are coming back on May 8th at 12 noon. And we're not going to stand in these stairs. We're going inside. May 8th, we're going inside. We're going inside. You feel me? Si se puede. Si se puede. So let me end by saying that every person, every African American, every Latino who's been evicted, we're going to demand that they be given a voucher, and that when this so-called 30,000 new affordable housing is built in San Francisco, African Americans and Latinos be given the right to come back and live in San Francisco. Si se puede.
No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace. Give us back our homes. No justice, no peace.
Black Friday 14s, and we have to realize that if we want to get them where it hurts, we got to get their pockets. We got to stop letting them make money off our backs. We got to shut shit down. We here in front of this office, we need to let them know that we are here and our voices matter. And that until black people and brown people are freely able to walk around this country, we will continue to stop